Nova Academy floated high above Earth's clouds. It wasn't just any school. It was the school for elite children, sons of senators, daughters of generals, and kids born on space stations all studied there. The halls were bright with neon lights. Robots served lunch. Students flew on hoverboards between classes. On the first Monday of the solar term, a boy named Taj walked into the academy. He looked out of place. Taj was short and overweight. His uniform looked old and tight. His shoes were the kind people wore back on Earth, not in space cities. He had thick glasses, and his face stayed quiet, like he didn't want to be seen. But he was seen. Everyone noticed. "Who's the black blob?" one kid whispered. "Must be from Earth," said another. "You can smell the gravity on him." A tall boy named Blaze, the leader of the most popular group, laughed the loudest. "Hey, careful where you roll, gravity boy," Blaze shouted as Taj passed. Everyone laughed. Taj said nothing. He just kept walking, holding his small lunchbox close to his side. He didn't look angry. He didn't look sad. He looked calm, like a storm waiting for the right time. During lunch, Taj sat alone at the last table. The others threw pieces of food at him. One kid spilled a drink near his shoes. Taj didn't move. He ate slowly, quietly, and when he finished, he wiped his mouth and opened a small notebook. Inside were music notes and symbols no one could understand. Blaze walked by and tried to knock the notebook off the table, but Taj grabbed it, fast. Blaze paused. "What, you play music? You gonna sing a sad Earth song or something?" Taj only looked up and said softly, "I might." Blaze shook his head. "Good luck, you'll need it." The next day, a big announcement was made. "Students." The voice of Principal Runa boomed over the speakers. "Next week is our annual Unity Performance Night, a celebration of talent, music, art, story, or skill. Galactic sponsors will watch, and winners may receive interstellar offers." Cheers exploded in the cafeteria. Everyone wanted to be famous. Some already had teams. Some already had costumes ready. That afternoon, a sign-up screen appeared in the hallway. Students rushed to it. Blaze and his crew typed in, "Dance of Fire, Blaze and Friends." Others signed up under names like Galactic Stars or Sky Rhythm. Then, a beep. Everyone looked. Taj had signed up, alone. "Name of act?" the screen read. Taj typed, "Voice of Earth." The room went silent for 2 seconds. Then laughter echoed. "Are you serious?" Kira, one of Blaze's friends, shouted, "That's the dumbest name I've ever heard. Can the stage even hold him?" Another boy joked, "Maybe he'll fall through and give us all a show." The crowd laughed harder. Some took pictures of the screen with Taj's name and posted it online with mean captions. Taj didn't say anything. He just smiled and walked away. That night, while everyone else played holo games and scrolled their feeds, Taj sat alone in the school music room. It was small, old, and forgotten by most students. But inside, he placed his notebook down and began to hum. The room listened. The lights seemed to flicker gently with his voice. He placed a hand on a strange device, an old Earth-made keyboard, and touched the keys like they were part of him. Each note glowed. Each tone pulsed through the walls like they had a story to tell. He closed his eyes. Behind those eyes were memories. His father, sitting beside him, singing lullabies. His mother tapping along. Nights filled with warmth, laughter, and music. Then, the silence. His father disappeared during a protest back on Earth. Music stopped in Taj's house. Until now. The next morning, Blaze passed Taj in the hall again. "Ready to embarrass yourself, gravity boy?" Taj looked up slowly. For the first time, his voice was clear and strong. "You'll remember this moment," he said. Blaze blinked. "What?" But Taj was already walking away, holding his notebook tight, eyes straight ahead. Something had changed. And for the first time, Blaze didn't laugh. The days passed quickly at Nova Academy. Students buzzed with excitement for Unity Performance Night. It was more than a school event. It was a chance to be seen, maybe even discovered by one of the galactic talent scouts who visited the elite schools once a year. Blaze and his team practiced in the main auditorium. Their costumes had fire effects. Their dance moves were wild and fast. Every time they hit a step, the lights flashed and speakers boomed with beats. "Now this is what a real show looks like," Blaze bragged. Outside the hall, other students watched and clapped. Some whispered about Taj. "Is he still doing it? No way he goes through with it. I heard he sings like a robot with a sore throat." But Taj wasn't in the main hall. He was in a dark storage room on the lowest floor. It was filled with old music gear, wired mics, dusty speakers, and forgotten instruments from Earth. He had found it by accident, but it became his safe place. Each night, after everyone had gone to their dorms, he came here. Taj stood in front of a broken mirror. His Earth-made keyboard rested on a crate. His notebook lay open with handwritten notes. He closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. Then, his voice filled the room. It wasn't loud. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. It told a story. A story about missing home. About being laughed at. About holding pain and still standing strong. The lights flickered as he sang. One night, a janitor named Mr. Cole stood in the hallway listening. He didn't interrupt. He didn't speak. But tears gathered in his old eyes. The morning after another long night of practice, Taj walked into school like always, quiet, carrying his worn backpack and keeping to himself. But something was different. People stared at him, not just with the usual mocking eyes, but with curiosity. "Did you hear what Mr. Cole said?" A student whispered. "No way, he's just making it up. That fat deaf kid. With that voice?" Another voice replied, "No. My sister said she passed the lower hall last night and heard him too. It didn't sound like a kid. It sounded like a star." Taj didn't react, but inside, his heart thumped hard. He hadn't known anyone was listening. By lunchtime, the cafeteria was buzzing. Blaze slammed his tray down. "This is getting out of hand. Everyone's talking about him now." His friend snorted. "It's just sympathy. Wait till he flops on stage. One crack in the floor, and boom, he's history." But secretly, Blaze felt nervous. Something about the way people were talking didn't sound like pity. Meanwhile, Taj returned to the old storage room that night. But this time, the door was unlocked. Inside, he found fresh batteries in the mic, a working spotlight set up in the corner, and a note. "They don't know what's coming, but I do, Mr. C." Taj smiled for the first time in weeks. He stepped under the spotlight and began to sing again. But this time, he wasn't just practicing. He was preparing for a moment the whole galaxy would never forget. 2 days before Unity Performance Night, the whole school felt tense. Posters were everywhere. Students from all Sky campuses were coming. Even talent scouts from Luna Studios were rumored to attend. But no one was talking about Blaze or the other popular performers anymore. Everyone was whispering one name now: Taj. Some didn't believe it. Others were secretly curious. Blaze walked past a group of younger kids who were watching a shaky holo recording. He leaned in. "Who is that?" Blaze asked. A girl smiled. "Taj. He was practicing in the East Wing. One of the janitors recorded it." Blaze saw a blurry image of Taj, standing still under a spotlight singing. The audio wasn't clear, but the voice, even Blaze had to admit, it gave him goosebumps. He crushed the datapad in his hand. It's fake. Meanwhile, Taj stood alone on the practice stage in the lower levels. It was dark, silent, except for the quiet hum of machines. Mr. Cole entered slowly, watching Taj rehearse. "You're ready," he said quietly. Taj didn't stop singing. After the final note, he turned. "I'm not scared anymore." Mr. Cole smiled. "You never were. You were just waiting." As Taj walked out, he saw Blaze and his crew waiting near the door. Blaze crossed his arms. "You really think one song will make them forget who you are?" Taj looked him straight in the eye. Calm. "No fear." "No," Taj said. "But they'll remember what I've become." The boys didn't understand it then, but they would. The moment was coming. The night of lights. The stage. The truth. Unity Performance Night had arrived. Nova Academy's auditorium floated above the clouds, glowing with lights and banners. Hundreds of students, parents, and guests filled the seats. A panel of galactic sponsors sat in the front row, some with glowing visors, others recording with eye drones. Backstage, performers rushed to fix costumes and practice lines. Taj stood alone in a corner, dressed in a simple black outfit, no glitter, no tech, just him. Blaze walked by, covered in flashy lights and armor. "Good luck, Gravity Boy," he smirked. Taj smiled. "You'll need it more." The host came on stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to witness the stars of tomorrow." Each act came and went. Laser dancers, hoverboard tricks, even a hologram band. Then the host paused. "Next, a performance by Taj from Earth." The room got quiet. Some students whispered, some laughed softly. Taj walked out. No background music, no backup dancers, just a spotlight. He took the mic and closed his eyes. And then he sang. A deep, powerful voice filled the air. The kind of voice that didn't just echo in the room, it echoed in hearts. The crowd fell silent. Taj's song was about pain, about being laughed at, about floating in silence, but also about rising, about believing. Even Blaze stopped breathing. When the song ended, Taj didn't bow. He just stood still. The room exploded in applause. People stood up, even the galactic sponsors. Taj slowly looked around. No more whispers, no more laughter, just faces frozen in awe. After the last act finished, the stage dimmed. The galactic sponsors whispered to each other. Then one stood up, a tall woman with silver eyes and a deep voice. "We've made our decision," she said. Students leaned forward. Blaze crossed his fingers, pretending to smile. "But before we announce the winner," the woman said, "we want to speak to one performer directly." She turned toward Taj. "You," she said. "Come here." Taj walked slowly to the front of the stage. He didn't look nervous, just calm, strong. The sponsor continued. "You didn't just perform tonight. You moved the entire room. You reminded us what true power sounds like." The audience clapped again, louder than before. Then she said, "We're offering you a full scholarship to the Galactic Arts Academy. Training, travel, all of it, free. If you want it." Taj's mouth opened slightly, but he didn't say anything right away. Then, finally, he nodded. "Thank you. I'll make sure I never forget where I came from." Backstage, Blaze and his group stood frozen. No one laughed. No one spoke. Later that night, as students left the auditorium, someone called out, "Hey, Taj!" It was one of Blaze's friends. He walked over and held out his hand. "You were amazing. I was wrong." Taj shook his hand without anger. "You're not the first to judge too early," he said. "But it's never too late to change." As Taj walked off, the stars of Nova Academy didn't look down on him anymore. They looked up. Because now, they all knew. The boy they laughed at, he was born to rise.